We have some GA stuff coming up.
Yeah, yes.
You talk about that.
Sure. I hope that people today got an email from the National, from Jenna Hines, saying, hi, the tickets are open for the GA that will be on the 4th and 5th of May. So that's only a couple of weeks away now. And the eclipse seemed to be kind of in the middle there of all the planning for the GA, but we're almost there. We don't have the finalized group of people yet, but it's getting there. And but the tickets came out, and it's only $15 for members for the whole 2 days, and so you can kind of pop in and out as you wish. I think that would be probably a good thing. They are looking at having a speaker on the Saturday night, as well as the Gather Town, the Gather Town that we've had for the past 2 or 3 years, that people like. And then people are being invited to see the Sunday astronomy show that comes with Chris Kerman from New Brunswick, and he's got thousands of people that kind of tune in to see his astronomy show on the Sunday night. So we're all being invited to do that as well, to come in. But just have to click on the link and get your tickets, and you're all set to go. You'll be given a like a hub of activities to do and everything like that, just closer to the time. So that's what I can tell you about the GA right now. So we hope everybody comes. Like, we hope that you'll invite, if everybody here invited kind of one of the new members or a couple of new members to come in and just say hi, come into even part of it. That would be great to get some new people that are not, haven't been in before. So, okay. There we are.
So I have a question. David, have you been taking advantage of the better weather?
Yeah, I've been on a project. I can download a couple of pictures and show them if you like. But trying to find hydrogen alpha in the Markarian's chain.
Mhm.
And so there's a little story there, so I'll
Sounds dangerous.
pull it up. Thanks, Garry.
Anything with hydrogen in it must be dangerous.
Well, there's something on the news today. They finally made contact with Voyager 1 again, and it's actually not talking gibberish.
Oh,
No,
Yes, indeed.
they recovered.
They recovered. So they found out there was a chip not working. These guys are pretty darn clever to find this out with that thing so far away. So they found out there was a chip not working as part of the memory, and then they split up the main program in a couple pieces and put it in different parts of memory because it was too big just to put in one place. And lo and behold, it's talking to them again. So they'll soon have it on. They've got engineering status reports coming down, but they'll soon get the science stuff going too, which is great.
Well, that's remarkable.
they must have
How old is it, Garry?
49 years.
Yeah.
Almost as old as I am.
That's
Yeah,
right.
there's hope for senior citizens.
They
They must
get a
have-
seniors discount pretty soon.
They
If
must
only
have-
we could be reprogrammed.
Yes.
But you wouldn't want it to be remotely though.
They
I
must
think
have-
it's just 47 years.
47?
Voyager was launched
Oh.
in 1977.
Okay, I thought
Okay.
it was 47 then.
Okay.
Yeah, our historian has spoken.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. I defer to you, Chris. I defer to you.
They must have
Absolutely.
64K on board of memory.
How
Yes.
long does it take the signal to get from Earth to the Voyager?
Couple of hours, I think.
Yeah, at least.
Long time.
I think it's the furthest out of any mission.
Do you know where it is right now, Chris?
Well, it's where is it? It's way out there. That's all I can say. it's I think they think that both Voyagers have reached what you call a heliopause, which means that they're kind of beyond the influence of the sun. And
Okay.
Voyager 1 was the one that went by Jupiter and Saturn, and then just kind of kept on going, and Voyager 2 went by Uranus and Neptune and all that. So it actually might be farther away. And then just to add to everything else, the Voyager 1 was actually the second one launched. Voyager 2 was the first one, but they named them the way they did because Voyager 1 was going to get to Jupiter first, Jupiter and Saturn first. So anyway, there's a lot to remember in there.
That sounds like a good trivia question that would stump people, Chris.
Okay, apparently it takes 22.5 hours to get the signal from Voyager to Earth.
Wow.
Wow.
Okay, here's a trivia question then. What movie did Voyager star in? Come on.
Star Trek.
It was a Star
Star
Trek.
Trek.
That is correct. And what was it called on Star Trek?
There was a whole series.
No, there's
Voyager.
one specific. There's a movie. There's a movie.
Oh,
Voyager.
I'm talking about the TV series.
No, there's a movie. It's called Voyager. You're right. Boy, you guys are good.
I just had a lot of time to waste watching Star Trek movies.
If it's 22.5 hours, it's not even a day away.
So I'm sharing the screen here, and this is a bit of information about where it is and on the NASA website. So
Looks like it's in outer space.
that's right.
What tipped you off,
Elevation.
Gary?
Can't fool me, boy.
Reach the Oort cloud in 300 years.
Oh, I was going to ask about the Oort cloud. Okay, so it's not
Wow.
even close yet.
Wow, that's stunning, isn't it? Like how
Yeah.
far away it is.
Chris, I have a question about the materials that these things are made of. Are they meant to last hundreds of years? They're not, right?
No, they were, I'm sure when they were launched, they would have been thrilled if they'd have known they were still going today. It's thought that they're both gonna conk out with the next few years because they're powered by the decay of radioactive uranium or something like that, and the amount of power those things are generating has fallen quite a bit since they were launched. So one day it's just not going to be enough.
Hmm.
They've already shut down some stuff to preserve powers, I think.
That's right.
It's like when your cell phone battery exceeds the limit, right?
That's right. Okay.
Can't call home anymore.
Literally.
Yeah.
If they're really 22.5 hours away, think of it, they're not even one day away.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
One light day.
at the speed of a radio wave.
Right.
It must be frustrating talking to it, right? Because you send your message out.
And then you wait 22 hours.
That's right. Oh, I meant T, not D. And then there's no getting it back, right?
Just like snail mail. Actually, faster than snail mail.
Oh yeah, faster than Canada Post.
Or
for sure.
Now, does somebody know, I once think I once read that if another civilization was trying to monitor our radio signals and stuff, it kind of all turns to mush around the orbit of Mars compared to, like, it's so weak and there's so much of it. Does anybody know about that or not? That they couldn't watch TV at a nearby star from Earth is kind of what I'm saying. Okay, I'll just proclaim that to be true then.
Maybe Gary, maybe they would have to buffer it or something like that.
I don't know.
Is there anybody else that is going to be being a judge at the regional science fair this
That's what I
coming
forgot
weekend?
about. That's what I forgot about.
Sunday.
Are you, Lauri?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am
Good
too.
for you. Good for you.
I said I would,
Yeah, I wasn't sure what I was going to be doing, so I didn't say anything.
but I'm hoping that nope, nobody else. You're missing out. Oh, sorry. Great.
Well,
Good.
I think Dorothy must be. She normally does, right?
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
I'd like to do that someday.
Here's a bit more on Voyager.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So you can see they both kind of left the plane of the solar system.
Yeah, that's strange.
Like Voyager 1 right off the bat, it left the plane of the plane of the solar system.
So
Yes.
Chris,
And
what's
the reason they did that was because they wanted Voyager 1 to pass by Titan. And the only way they could do that was to direct it out of the plane of the solar system. So that was a big decision. I was actually at the Voyager 1 encounter with Saturn, and there was a lot of excitement about that. Although, of course, when they got these pictures back, it just looked like an orange. So that was a bit of a letdown.
But why does it matter once you're out of the solar system?
Yeah, well, I mean, in the case of Voyager 1, it meant that it could no longer be used as they go to Uranus or Neptune. There was even thought of directing one of the Voyagers to Pluto, I think, at one point. And so these were all decisions when they're playing that celestial billiard ball thing,
It looks like Margie has arrived.
Does she even know where we meet?
She's there. There's a little box that has her name on it.
She was supposed to be for hostess. Yeah.
She might have some technical issues.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah, there she
Oh.
is. There she is.
You know what? I forgot that it was 7 o'clock and 30.
Well, we thought you were missing in action, and I looked at my email, and there was some correspondence from you at 1:45 this afternoon. So,
Oops. Oh, sorry. That combination sometimes these are all at 7 and then the other meetings are at 7:30. Yikes. Sorry about that.
Well,
Okay.
we've solved all the problems in the solar system already anyway, so it's okay.
Totally perfect. Okay.
We carried on.
That's a good thing. All right. So do you have a list of people who would like to present? Or shall I ask for that?
Well, I can show pictures whenever you want. So
All
yeah,
right.
and
So,
I have a few things to say about
Okay.
the upcoming SIGs.
okay, David Payne,
And,
David Lee.
and I
and
have a
Will.
very quick update.
I have something to talk about, a book or two.
Okay.
Sorry.
So John McDonald, John, anyone in, oh
Hey.
no, what happened?
sorry.
Anyone in
You got sugar happy.
anyone, gracious, anyone in the room have anything that they would like to show or present?
Yeah.
not present. I have a quick report on the lighting for uplands.
Oh, good.
As of today.
All right, Dave. Dave
Okay,
Robinson.
just to,
All right. So we'll start with David Payne.
okay, great.
Here you are.
Too many Daves.
Oh my gosh, I've got 3 on the list.
Anyways, I just what activity I've been up to since we've had a bit of clear weather. I don't know if you remember this image. Everyone can see that image. This is John's image. It was taken with Garry's scope, but it's of the Triangulum galaxy. That's right. And it's kind of it's a fantastic image, but it's kind of a strange galaxy because it doesn't have a really bright central core. There's kind of dust going right into the middle, and you'll see there's all sorts of hydrogen alpha glowing red areas there where stars are being created. And the reason I showed that is because I think I found its twin. It's about the same size.
Mhm.
It's NGC 2403. It's about the same size. It's 3 times further away. But it's almost a twin, even down to the angle at which you're seeing it at. And it's got the same sort of core with a very dim core with dust going right into the middle. And then all sorts of these red glowing star forming areas. So it's a very active area. But I was just taken aback. I thought, did I shoot Triangulum by mistake? And I try not to do too much reading before I take the image, and I try and sort that out. But no, it's just almost a twin. And if they weren't labeled, you probably couldn't tell which is which.
That's really beautiful. It's amazing how close it is in appearance to the Triangulum.
Yeah. I do have one of the Triangulum. It's not as good as yours, John, but it's more on the same scale, and you really see how similar they are.
Mhm.
David, your image is exceedingly sharp.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Like your teeny weeny stars are little pinpoints. It's just lovely.
Thanks. I think I can zoom in. These cameras nowadays, they've got such resolution, and the guiding works so well that you can really pick up on little fine details in there.
Very nice.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And Dave, Lauri has a question.
Sure, Lauri.
If you could just zoom back out again a little bit, please. Could you tell me what that really interesting little thing is up in the top left-hand corner?
It's another
Thank you.
galaxy.
Well, I know that. Does anybody know what it is?
I could look up my plate solving, and I'll look it up and let you know if it's probably labeled. It's probably got a PCG number.
Okay. Okay.
And there's another one right in the middle of the screen.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a little
Yeah,
one right on edge.
They're kind of all over the place. There's one up in the upper left. I don't know if that's showing for you right
Yeah.
there.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Just crazy.
You can just go hunting for them, and you start losing count. You find so many.
Yeah.
It's always fun. But if you-
Beautiful. Thank you.
if you like a lot of galaxies, so this is Markarian's chain, which
Whoa.
hopefully you're familiar with. There's a lot of galaxies in here, and this is the result of about 18 hours of time with the camera on the scope on this target.
Wow.
And it doesn't show it. these two are Messier's, like 62 and 63, I believe, but I might have that number wrong. But they're very old spherical type galaxies. So they're basically a 3D ellipse, if you will, an oblong sphere. And they're basically just stars. There's tend to be very little gas in them. And the stars tend to be old. But there's a spiral galaxy right here, if I can zoom in. It's a spiral galaxy right here. And there's another one up top here. And then you've got, these are called the eyes in Markarian chain. They're two galaxies next to each other that are continuing to interact. But you can see this one has been messed up a bit, like someone's taken a stir stick in the pot and just messed everything up. And so you can see it's got some hydrogen alpha, that bright red that's kind of all over the place. It also has a blue tinge to say it has new stars. So that's supposed to be, because all the galaxies, those three are basically, all the other galaxies are quite old and shouldn't have any hydrogen alpha. It's all been used up building stars a long time ago. But in fact, some people have noted that this galaxy here has stolen some of the hydrogen alpha from this galaxy. So as it went by, it sort of picked up a bunch of the gases, and it's kind of supposedly left a trail between them. And you can see I've really tried to bring out the red as much as possible, because I was trying to figure out if this was indeed true for myself. Not that I disbelieve what I was being told, but it's something to see for yourself. So it didn't show it here. So what I did, and this is roughly 50 hours. Oh, I got the wrong one here. This one here is 50 hours of integration time. And the nights are getting short, and they're interspersed with full moons and all sorts of things. And I thought maybe I can pick up on this trail of hydrogen alpha that was left behind. And just by leaving the shutter open longer period of time. So I did this, and I finally got tired of it and put the image together, because there's other things I want to look at. But if I zoom into those same two galaxies, and it might be really hard to see on the screen, but there is a trail.
Oh, there is.
Trail of
Oh yeah, you can see it. Yep.
hydrogen alpha linking this, and you can actually see in this galaxy some bands of red, sort of floating around, that really shouldn't be there in a galaxy like this. And it's kind of hard to tell when you're overdoing it or not, because I've actually got a pink fringe that I don't know if it's real in this galaxy. And I've actually got some in this empty space. I've got some indications. Now this could just be noise. It could be something going on in the image, but I wouldn't think so with such an integration time. But it really is an oddity that there's hydrogen alpha sitting there in this big elliptical galaxy.
So David, do you think that if you did a lot of integration off to the left there, you might be able to find a gas cloud like those guys did with the Andromeda galaxy? Or would it just take too much of your time?
Out here?
No, up in the left where you pointed it. Yeah, you can see the redness there.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe. It's almost like I would want someone independent to see if they get the same thing, just to discount the noise. But it was
That's
Well,
really good sleuthing, Dave.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Amazing
job.
picture.
But amazing, it's amazing how many galaxies are in there. Like there's two there, there's another one
Mhm.
there, another one there. They're just right over the place. And this is a small portion of the entire Virgo cluster of galaxies. And these are the ones you don't need the James Webb to see, right? Like,
Yeah.
because it's
Lovely,
closer.
lovely, lovely.
Well, thanks. Thanks for indulging me.
David, you mentioned that you don't like to dig too deep. You want to do a little bit of discovery yourself. But did you dig deep enough to to understand if there are families of these galaxies that look like that?
No, I didn't. It was a report I read, and they had a little bit of an image. You could see it more clearly in the report I read, this connection between this galaxy and this galaxy. They didn't talk at all about what's out here. And there was an article I read about, they called it something had gone through this galaxy and stolen a lot of the hydrogen, and it is very hydrogen deficient in the entire Virgo cluster. And there's some plasma about, but I didn't see a picture of it that shows it. And if you just take a normal RGB picture, you won't see that deep red in the background. I could pull it out stronger, but it would make the image look horrible, so I didn't bother.
That's
Awesome.
really neat. Yeah, really
It's
neat.
just fun exploring, and you hear something, you say, well, I should be able to see that. So you try it out.
Thank you, David. That's
Thanks.
lovely. Yeah. David Lee, you're up next.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make a comment about the beginner's SIG, and then actually, I may as well take the opportunity to tell you a little bit more about the recurrent nova that's coming up. Speaking of stars stealing things or galaxies steal gas from other areas. Anyways, the beginner's SIG, I've moved, or I would like to move to the 14th. Though I understand there's now another potential collision. But on the 7th, when we normally would meet for the beginners group, Nathan, our own Victoria's Nathan, is launching his book, Cosmic. What's the last part of it, Lauri? Cosmic
Wonders.
Wonders,
Cosmic Wonder. Cosmic
Yeah, so
Wonder.
he's launching his book, and he's going to be interviewed with or by Bob McDonald at Bullen Books on that same night. So I've moved it to the 14th. I might, for those of you who are in the beginners group, we might have to shift it by half an hour or so, depending on how much it collides with the IAD planning. So just watch for that. I haven't sent the link out yet. Okay, so that's the SIG, and I just wanted to give you an update on the recurrent nova. I talked about that a couple of weeks ago. So I just wanted to give you an update. So this is the thing that we're expecting to happen. There's a variable star called T Coronae Borealis, and basically it's made up of a red giant and a white dwarf. And these are called recurrent nova because they don't obliterate themselves, even though they're in the category of cataclysmic variables. These will just be on the verge of lighting up and causing a brightening over a period of years. And I think this one's like an 80-year period. So we're kind of expecting it to brighten between now and September. So as I mentioned to people, there have been a couple of times when we've been out at the VCO, and I've been trying to find it for myself, make sure I could find it easily. and I've shown it to a number of people as well. I think the last time we were out at the VCO, Borealis was lying on its side, and Corona Borealis, instead of being like a happy face, was more like a backwards C. But anyways, it is quite visible, and I think it will certainly look out of place when it brightens. So I just want to let people know that I am tracking it. I'm actually planning on doing some photometry as well. So if anybody is interested in learning how to do the photometry for it, the photometry is basically sort of tracking the brightness of the star, tracking its brightening, and then it's going back down again. So I'm hoping to get a light curve out of that. So if anybody wants to know how to do that or curious about it, let me know. And I might have some Zoom sessions on that. So I think that's it.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
John.
Yeah, let me just get back on Zoom here. I don't know how many people might be interested in this, but there are some physics books that have been coming out by a fellow named Carlo Rovelli. He's an Italian. And they are probably the best books to introduce people to the more interesting and deep parts of physics of anything that's been written in recent times. A lot of people tried to read Stephen Hawking's book and got very frustrated because it was not an easy book. It was really difficult. This fellow, Carlo Rovelli, writes absolutely magnificently and very, very clearly. One of the books is called 7 Lessons on Physics. And it's like a primer. It's really good. I just finished reading one called White Holes, which is about the time reversed version of black holes. These have never been seen in nature, but they're predicted by Einstein's theory. And he writes a wonderful book about them too. So I just thought I'd mention that. Most of his books are in the bookshops. I know I've seen them in the bookshop, Tanner's bookshop in Sydney. I've seen them, I think I've seen them in Monroe's bookshop downtown. But he's an amazing author, and I just wanted to let people know in case anybody is dying for some, nighttime reading.
Mm-hmm. Actually, also available as an audiobook, so some nighttime listening.
They are, yeah.
So what's his name again, John?
Carlo Rovelli. I can pull up his website if you'd like.
That's okay. I'll find it. Thank you.
And John, are those books recently published or have been published?
Some of them are very recent. Some have go back a little ways. See if I can find his. Oh, I spelled it wrong, so I didn't get the right Carlo.
Rovelli.
There he is. Can you see that?
Yes. Yes.
This is the guy. And here's some of his books. Reality is Not What It Seems is a wonderful book. The Order of Time I have, but I haven't read it yet. The White Hole books is really good. And he's done a book called Anaximander about the Greeks. And I have it also, but I haven't read it yet. And he's got one called The Order of Time. He's been very prolific. He's also he's a really top level cosmological physicist right now. So he's a good guy to read.
He's also on TV quite a bit.
Interesting. Very good.
Thank you, John.
Anyway, I just wanted to let people know that,
Oh.
in case you're interested.
John, do you have your gorgeous picture that you had on the front of the
Yeah.
front of the newsletter. I'd like to see it in larger,
Do you want to see it on the
larger
screen?
print.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can do that. Let's see, let me put this down.
Wow.
Wow.
If that ain't wall worthy, I don't know what is.
It's pretty nice. In the one with the diamond ring, if you blow it up, you can see
Oh, yeah.
one of the prominences. The other one is hidden by it's actually right here. You can see part of it, but it's hidden by the diamond ring. And there's just a bit of Bailey's beads here too, which is kind of neat.
Pretty neat.
John, a quick question. Is totality a single shot or is that stacked?
That's one shot.
Wow. Very nice.
Single shot. I didn't think I'd get that much out of it, but I used a combination of the camera raw processing, and I blended that with some using the rotational blur technique. And it's a bit noisy, of course, but I got more out of it than I thought I would.
You know,
I was a bit flummoxed. I actually was set up to take a bunch of different exposures, but I wanted to see things too. And I got confused and didn't take my filter off quickly enough. So I just had time to get one. You know, by the time the diamond ring came at the end, I could have sworn it was no more than about 10 seconds that we'd been watching it. It was just absolutely amazing how fast it went by.
You know what was really interesting, John, about totality this time was all the prominences seemed to be on one side. Like they were very dominantly on one side, and almost nothing on the other side, right?
That's true. Yeah. Joe got some really nice ones of the prominences.
Well,
Yeah, it was
other
a good
people did too, I don't know.
eclipse. It was interesting because this one sort of reminds me of a sunflower. It was quite uniform all the way around with the plasma streamers. You know, sometimes like the last one had two distinct horns, and they were all different.
Yeah,
It was far more streaky.
Yeah, 2017, there were only a few dominant helmet streamers, and here they're just everywhere.
Yeah.
John, is that those two red dots on the totality on the right-hand side?
Right here?
Could those be reflections of the...
Good question, Dave. I don't know.
I've actually seen them in other photographs, and they are proms.
Yeah.
If you look at other people's images, that's why I remarked that they were all on one side. Because if you look at them from different people, you see them in those locations.
Super nice.
As Joe says, this is really different from the one in 2017. I can show that too if you like. But you'll see the difference right away. It's huge.
John, you did a wonderful job of the curve of the sequence. It's really beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you.
There were a lot of small prominences all the way around, but they were small and thin because I was watching it with the NH alpha as it progressed.
You look at how different this one is.
I remember that.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Can't forget that.
So this is interesting. This go around, you don't see that kind of almost that magnetic field effect that you see here.
Right.
Yeah,
you don't seem to see it.
I call this eclipse a sparkly eclipse because it was the geometry was such that the moon did not obliterate the very edge of the sun, so we saw all these wonderful sparkles around the edge.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But this 2024 apparition, the apparent size of the moon was bigger, so some of that was obliterated.
It's almost like this much bigger around this time.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's
Hmm.
surprisingly, if you
quite different.
look at the at the image I got of the sun before and the image of the covered moon, the one with the covered moon is significantly larger.
Hmm.
It's really noticeable. So it's really covering up all the stuff very close to the edge. And it also meant that Bailey's beads were harder to capture.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, they were only really available C2 and C3.
Yeah.
You did a great job processing this one too, John. Like, wow.
Well, this one had multiple exposures, so I had a lot more to work with.
Mhm.
So I will stop sharing.
Beautiful.
Thank
Thank you.
Lovely, yeah. Dave Robinson.
Yeah, we talked a little bit last week about what's been going on with the municipality of Oak Bay in the Uplands area. They had made an original design for replacement of streetlights with some dark sky friendly fixtures. And somehow council intervened and overruled that and said they're gonna go back to the globes, which are white opaque globes on top of straight posts. But they're gonna make the posts taller and the globes bigger. So I have been in contact with two residents of Oak Bay and in that Uplands area. We had a little meeting this afternoon, and we are arranging a meeting with the mayor and the lighting designer for the municipality of Oak Bay sometime in the next week or so. So at that point, we will talk to them a little bit about departure from what's in their municipal plan as being a dark sky friendly lighting, which the way it's going to be going right now is not.
Good for you, Dave.
So Dave, are we at risk of losing the designation because of what they're going to do?
Not for the park,
Hmm.
not for the Cattle Point, but it may affect Cattle Point if they go with what I have barely seen as a proposal, because they're gonna put about 50% on pole height, and they're probably gonna have to double the light output of those lamps to get anything on the ground. Maybe 4 times as much, so it's going to increase sky glow that's going to be coming out of that municipality district, The argument that was made was because that was historical lighting, part of the federal historical designation of uplands. But I don't see why it should overrule what's in their community plan. However, we'll see what happens when we get a chance to talk to the mayor and the engineer who's holding responsibility for that.
Thank you, Dave, and thank you for doing that. Does anyone else have anything to share?
I have a cool picture of Juno, the spacecraft Juno, with a lava lake, if you want to see that.
Yes.
Alrighty, let's see if I can share the screen here. Okie dokie. Now, did I get the right screen up there or not?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, so you can see that in the middle there, like just reading it right in front of you here. They call it a glass smooth lake. Doesn't look glass smooth to me, but nevertheless, it's quite cool. An enormous lava lake, and it's 930 miles, 1,500 kilometers. Yeah, it was taken from 1,500 kilometers away. And what else can I say here? Oh yeah, it's 200 kilometers long, and they've been looking at it for a long time. And apparently these eruptions on the Io's surface are so strong you can actually see them from the Earth with earthbound telescopes. So I thought that was very cool.
Hi.
So there you go.
So it doesn't look like there's a lot of gases coming out with that lava, or like,
Yeah, no, it doesn't, does it?
like that's just weird.
Yeah. But it's an interesting, I've never seen a close-up of this moon before. That was so cool. So I thought it was worth looking at.
Does Io have any atmosphere?
Great, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it takes a very long time to cool or something.
Yeah, right. And if you look here, can you see item 3 there? There's another interesting thing. Item 3, global time signals subtly shifted as the total lunar eclipse reshaped Earth's upper atmosphere.
Yeah, I read that.
That was interesting. That was interesting.
They had to do a little time shift.
Yeah, right.
To adjust.
There you go.
Microseconds.
Yeah. Okay.
Why?
Why?
Yes. Why?
Okay. I'll click on it and see if it can take us there. Right here.
It changed the shape of the Earth's atmosphere.
Yeah,
Well, why does that change time?
Yeah, that doesn't change time.
Well, with GPS satellites, it does, I guess.
Oh.
Actually, it says
It
here.
it didn't change time. It just changed the recording of time, I guess.
Times our time signals
from the satellites.
Yeah, from the satellite. Yeah, it didn't change time. You're right. Sorry, that was not the right thing to say. So there you go.
Well, it changed time during the eclipse, right? 3 minutes turned into 10 seconds. John was talking about.
John was a good example of that. Anyhow,
Well, it's because satellites are up in space. So they run on by Einstein, they run on a slightly different time. And so that all has to be coordinated for everything to work properly. Like they run slower. Is that right? Because they're further out from the Earth. So all those things have to be calculated for GPS and for telecommunication signals and all those things. And so they would have to adjust them or else things wouldn't work right. I believe that's what it's saying.
Okay.
But the eclipse wouldn't change its velocity and acceleration field, would it?
Maybe it became denser or not as dense. And so they were moving, because satellites are still the low Earth orbit ones. They're still in the Earth's atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
So they could be still affected with some drag, like the space station is.
GPS satellites?
I don't know.
GPS satellites are actually in higher orbits than the space station. So I suppose they might be affected, but certainly not like the space station would be.
But what about telecommunication ones?
Oh, well, most of the ones are way up in the geostationary belt, which is like, 23,000 miles up.
Okay.
Now, of course, the ones that Musk is sending up right now that are so beloved to us are in much lower orbits, I think, more, similar to the space station orbit. So they would be affected.
Yeah. Yeah. Just reading farther down in the article, apparently they bounce signals off the ionosphere to keep things synchronized somehow between satellites, and you can read it for yourself there later.
Oh, okay.
And since the ionosphere changed its dimensions, it changed the frequency in some of these signals they're sending back and forth.
Yeah, it's interesting that they're still calibrating to WWV, the time signal radio station at the National Institute of Standards. That's an interesting tidbit.
Yeah, but you'll note that the gold standard is the atomic clocks, right?
Yeah.
So the deviations between those other methods of capture are affected, not the clocks, obviously, or not the real time.
Yeah.
Well, the atomic clocks, they have atomic clocks aboard most of the satellites as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
They all have their local time, every single satellite.
But they should
what a dog's breakfast.
Yeah.
But they should only be affected by their speed.
Well, as a matter of fact, you're right, Dave. I don't know about justified, but they put two satellites in orbit, one going one way around the Earth and one going the other way. And indeed, they did have a different. They were different in time when they met up to each other. With each other.
Right.
That was very cool.
Thank you. Does anyone else have anything to share?
I've got a couple of things I want to talk about. Just a minute here. So during the eclipse, I was kind of, and in the lead into the eclipse, I was following the journey of Alan Dyer, because he was kind of in an interesting situation, I thought, because he's so identified with eclipses that, he just wasn't going to go somewhere and hope that the weather was nice. He was going to go to a place where he was going to get some photos. And he, just before this meeting started, I discovered that he posted the tale of his eclipse chase on AmazingSky.net. It was quite interesting. He had actually set out for San Antonio, Texas, and he barely got over the border when he realized that Texas was not going to be a good place to be. And so he came back across the border and decided, oh, he's going to go to Ontario, and discovered, well, Ontario isn't going to be perfect either. So he wound up in Lac Brome in Quebec, which was better. So I just thought I would bring that to your attention, and he's just posted kind of his tale on it with lots of great photos and things like that to look at. That's kind of an interesting case. But in my case, I kind of decided, well, I'm going to go to Windsor, and if I have to, I'll go to Ohio or somewhere like that. But my arena of operations is going to be quite limited, and I think that's the case with a lot of us. And but here is a guy who is dead set on seeing it, and this is what happened. And I guess a similar case, I think Leslie Welsh was going to go down to Texas, and I think he wound up just stopping at a rest stop in Arkansas. But anyway, it's an interesting thing. Something else I want to talk about a little bit is has to do with being president. And so, of course, 2 weeks ago, and I can't believe it's 2 weeks ago now. So we all go off, or a lot of us go off traveling to the eclipse, including myself. And in the couple of months that I've been president again, I have not seen a week like that where my mailbox is filled up with all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff that I couldn't possibly deal with because I was traveling. It was annoying. And one thing I got was all of a sudden this letter comes up from why have I just suddenly forgotten his name? George Ball's grandchildren or something, saying, what the hell happened to his dome? I don't know. I think Joe suggests, I sort of asked a couple, Joe, well, see what Bruno has to say. And of course, I've got no response from Bruno, so I guess I'm going to have to phone him unless somebody else.
Chris, I think it went up island or something like that. I don't know if it survived, but
yeah, my suspicion is that
island.
it didn't, because of course Bruno took it, and then his marriage kind of went south, and I think it might have been a casualty of that. But anyway, I just bringing this up in case somebody else had heard anything. But I'll check that.
Chris, do they want it back?
I don't know. They just want to know what happened to it, basically.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they want it back.
Okay.
The other email I got is and this is something I don't know about, so I'm going to ask about it. This is the real reason why I brought up my mail bag was I get this letter. It says, "Hello, my name is," or maybe I'll just post this up and you can look at it. if I can get the share screen to go. And because I don't know what this is about, what a RASA 14 is. And this is kind of a unusual ask.
It's a telescope.
It's a telescope. Yeah,
it's a telescope design. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
designed for imaging.
They're basically asking if we can put it somewhere for them.
Oh,
I think the short answer is no, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
How big is it?
14.
It's a 14-inch.
14-inch. Yeah.
Do we have any suggestions I could advance to them?
Well, Pearson's full, so no, not in this area.
Unless somebody has a private observatory or land or.
What about the 5th floor of the Bob Wright Center? Maybe they could set it up there.
You mean on the roof?
Yes.
They've already asked UVic.
But I don't think they really got an answer. So anyway.
Oh. Yeah,
anyway,
there's lots of patio space on the top that's set up for observing. It has power and everything up there on Bob Wright. But it'd be out in the elements.
Yeah, I mean they've got these little metal containers that go over their scopes, but their scopes are like 8-inch scopes.
Yeah.
So they'd have to do another thing.
Well, most weather my telescope's outside with a cover on it, so
yep,
it's not a big deal. I'm sure they would accommodate him if he's a student, isn't he?
Well, they said no in the email, but whatever.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably
okay. Yeah, I mean, there was just, and then I think we've got a couple of telescope donations, or at least where I got correspondence about them while I was away. And just all this stuff coming out of the blue sky. When it's not particularly convenient to get that sort of stuff. So anyway.
So Chris, on the subject of telescope donations, Alistair has agreed he's going to take the small 6-inch kidscope over to Roman. Roman will make sure it's in fine shape and adjust the one leg for latitude. And Alistair will bring it down here in the fall to go up to the center of the universe.
Oh, and is that the one that's at the center of the universe now?
No, this is one at surplus.
Okay, because there was another donation of a smaller telescope, and apparently they've dropped it off at the center of the universe, so I've got to go pick it up the next time I'm there.
Okay.
Ben sent me a note saying these guys arrived and it's in some office at the center of the universe.
This telescope is one of 5 that Roman and I built for a school outreach program in Edmonton. And they completed storage, so this was the last one left. So we're getting it for the Center of the Universe program that you've agreed to take, haven't you, Lauri?
I did. Yeah. If it's 6-inch, it's 6-inch, right? Yeah. So that fits in with like we don't have that size, so that's a different size for us.
And the nice thing about it is it's really easy to set up. It comes in a couple of storage boxes. You set up, polar align it, and it's got a little drive on it. So once you aim it at an object, it'll hold the object in the field for a while.
Yeah.
And it's slowed down so small children can push it around pretty easily.
Good.
And it's meant to be handled by school kids.
Yeah, that's good. I know we got lots of bits and pieces around. Does anybody want a portable planetarium? Inflatable planetarium? No, we're gonna have to get rid of that. So there we go.
Why is that?
Oh, it's in the second office in the CU and has been there for 20 years.
Wasn't that the traveling one that went around the province?
No,
Yeah.
it didn't go around the province, but it did go around to the schools around. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When was it,
And
when was it last deployed? Do you know?
I think about 20 years ago. So we've got it so that we're going to try to blow it up and see how good it is and whether or not it can be used at all by anybody. And if not, like if it can't be inflated, like it's just going to disappear. But if it's still can be used, it's got a very old projector, with round rolling kind of cardboard tube things. Like it's a relic, but we can't keep it up. We just have no more room up at the center for it. So it's going to be donated to anybody that wants a portable planetarium if it's still okay. Yeah. Anyway, in the works.
Is it like a bouncy castle?
Yeah, like a bouncy castle.
You go,
Yeah,
David,
and
you
you have. Sorry, go ahead, Gary.
You could use it for your kids to bounce on, David.
Yeah.
David Lee, do you want to just bring up the picture of the International Astronomy Day, the poster? And we could just talk a little bit about that. Sorry, Margie, I think we haven't really talked about that yet.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, so just a second here. I was half thinking that you were going to ask me to do that, and I was maybe sort of prepared, but now I'm not prepared. So it's okay. It's okay. It's coming up right now.
Chris, you're putting out the press release, is that right?
Yeah,
Soonish.
I'll send it out tomorrow. And my apologies to Joe. I think we made a couple of changes since I sent that one to you earlier today. So I'll have to send that to you again. And
no problem. It is posted. The current version is posted on the website.
Yeah, I think I was getting a little flustered at one point, but
well, I kept giving him some new information.
Yeah.
Chris, I should tell you too that when I gave you the information for the Royal BC Museum, of course, I did not include Tristan Berg, who is speaking at night.
Right.
Yeah, no, I did get that information from somewhere or other, so
that's good.
I'm good.
Yeah, I needed it to do the little Polaroid on the main poster, but we were never intending to host the information on Tristan's talk. That would be the FDO's responsibility to do that.
Yeah.
So this is what I came up with over the last couple of weeks. I turned all the main speakers into fake Polaroids, and so you can see their little names here and their titles of their talks. I've got a different version that doesn't have all the detailing and stuff like that, but the main thing was we wanted to sort of make sure people knew that it was free, and we added in some QR codes and URLs so that people could find things. So that's basically it.
So we hope everybody will come out. Either you're already snagged for doing volunteer work, or you're potentially going to be snagged to do volunteer work, or please just come out to either or both the daytime at the museum or the nighttime up at the CU. Lots of things going on. So
and actually we could use some help maybe broadcasting this. I'm going to make a number of the larger 11 by 17 posters, and I just created a smaller version in 8.5 by 11 that doesn't have all the details in it. So we could we have a number of target sites, don't we, Lauri, that they could go to. So we just need some help to distribute them.
And members can publicize it as well, because there's a downloadable version on the website, on the event page, and you can print that out and stick it on your fridge, give it to someone else to stick on their fridge, or
you
can find a shop that still allows people to put posters up. You could do that too.
Yeah, the other thing I suggest that you do is I think we're going to make available a version that will just fit in your photo album on your phone. So if you bump into people, you can just bring it up and then just kind of zoom in on the QR codes and they can pick them up that way. So that's a really convenient way.
You can share it with them as well.
Yeah, exactly. There's lots of ways of spreading the news.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who has something to share?
Just the astrophotography SIG is this Wednesday, so if anyone's not in the list, you're still welcome to join us.
And we have a council meeting tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there's not enough going on.
Yeah.
Not enough going on.
I can't believe how everything got compressed into this month and the previous month. There's just so much stuff that got compressed in.
All right, and I have one thing to show you. I received my Explorer birth certificate and my pin.
Way to go.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is
work
there an
was
associated
lovely.
pin, Margie?
There is an associated pin.
Ah.
And I have it.
Good deal.
All righty. Well, it's 12 minutes after 8. We're very early this evening. And it looks like we are completed for the evening.
Okay.
Did someone record the meeting?
Yes, I have.
Okay, great. Thanks,
I
Jim.
am.
Thank you to all. We'll see you next week.
Thanks to everybody
Thank you.
doing all their work, all the things around and making everything work. Thank you.